continue that video. There's no way to get it on a 10-minute video. The problem, if I broke the law, was telling the truth and being born and who I am. And everybody else breaking the law, and yet no one's paid for any of it. I was kidnapped. My father's Edward VIII, and his own brothers here in '39 when I was kidnapped with Roosevelt. And Roosevelt, I was kidnapped in '41. He appointed Joe Kennedy, ambassador to England during that time until they kicked him out. And the only way that I know I might have gotten to Moulton, Alabama, that's where they dropped me off, kidnapped me in '41, and dropped me off in Moulton, Alabama. It's near Cortland Air Base there that had just been built during the war. This is when she had twins, Peggy and Carl. I have to use Peggy's name, Peggy Dempsey. I married a Childers. That's the name I still have to use, fighting to get mine back. And she killed her twins, and it was covered up. So this is me. And that family was all glossed up, but they didn't have their clothes. That must have been the real Sunday go-to meeting and everything. And so they took me from Buckingham Palace. My father, who never married Wallace Simpson, he married Claudia Ruth O'Keeffe, sister to artist Georgia O'Keeffe. And I had written in Atlanta, and Larry McDonald, I ran in that campaign when Flint flew me out there. Larry McDonald, Dr. Congressman's plane went down August the 31st of '83, shot down by Russia MiG when it veered into the airspace. And by the way, Nixon, who's a part of this whole stuff and mess that happened to me, and Kissinger. Well, anyway, Nixon was on the plane. They took him off in Juneau, Alaska. It was en route to Seoul, South Korea, and it went down, and it was shot down by the Soviets. And I was flown out to Flint as a candidate. And I was writing about mind control murder, '75 till April Fool's Day when they almost killed me. And they've continued, but the ones I spoke of were done in patterns. So anyway, Timothy McVeigh tried to tell everybody the U.S. Army implanted a chip up here. But anyway, what I wanted to get back to was I haven't been able to get a place to live. When I did, I'm allergic to chemicals. That's the illness I have. I have an immune disorder. Then when I am around toxic fumes, especially in a closed-in place. Well, I'll let you see where I'm living. Happy to get in. I don't know where I'll be tomorrow. But the toxins, the chemicals, cause my immune system to attack itself, and it causes really great pain. And I've been trying to explain that on other. It's terrorism to me. It's horrible. But anyway, what I want to say is Larry Flint said to me when I left out there, October the 17th, I believe, of '83, and he flew me back to Atlanta, and he had was leasing me a car and did for a year. And I never spoke to him after then. But anyway, he told me there was no room in the inn, I-N-E, inn, so I wouldn't have a place to live. And later, the parody against Jerry Falwell next door to Roanoke here at Liberty University in Lynchburg, he had the parody, and it was in federal court here. And if I'm not mistaken, well, anyway, here in Roanoke, but I didn't see him. So I wanted to get to this, though, real quick, because this is where the Friendship Manor comes in. They are more, well, you don't have to be on HUD or low income to get in. You can't get into it. They don't furnish low-income housing, HUD. It's a retirement, and I just got the application, and I'm sounding rambling, I guess, because I don't have someone helping me put all this together, and I'm not in the best of health right at the moment either. So, anyway, I'm going to go back to Edinburgh Square back in '06. I was living in the forest, and rangers come around harassing me, and you won't see the truth in any of it unless I'm able to get up and tell it, or, well, there's other means. I hope they exist. But anyway, the homeless assistance got me in at Edinburgh Square here in Roanoke. And right away, I stayed there for 6 months, and they had a book laid out for me, Is Your Environment Making You Sick? And it was on what's wrong with me. If I'm around toxic fumes, my immune system attacks itself. So they put fumes in my room. What they did to me is so hideous. It really is, and I finally left. And there's a lease that makes it look bad for me. I had to break the lease. So I went to the next one that I was able to get to, but this is an agent that got these for me. At the ones I had with the low income, Edinburgh, Scott Hill was the last one. And I've told everybody that they used names in the killings, mind control murders, associated with, they were in patterns. And the Scott Hill one was in patterns. So they get people, law enforcement do, to get me in, and then they force feed me toxic fumes. Here, I just left out there a couple of months ago, and it was horrible. I could take photos of. They had black mold, and they did nothing. I even left and went back, and I was going to break the lease, and she promised, McCoy, the manager, promised to fix it. I went back, and it was all a joke. And since I can't tell it on here, I have all the video. They did not fix it. It was horrible. It's a joke what they can do to me. So I left there, and there's another lease that is broken. And Richfield is a nice one. I really loved it. It had pond. They got me in there. The agent did. They're deliberately setting it up and gassing me, the toxic fumes, and all these people go along with it. Law enforcement gets something on them or their kids, and in return, they do this to me. They're breaking the law in every way, and it's unreal that it's been allowed to happen. And so Richfield was the same way. It was very nice, but they had a section that was HUD. Okay, Friendship Manor, I tried to get in. I mentioned that on the other video, that Ken Serpan had been head of NBC, and then he seemingly, here in Roanoke, Channel 10, and he seemingly was going to help or look into it, and then he suddenly became administrator of Friendship Manor. Then he would never talk to me when I tried to get in there or anything. But now then somebody walked up to me, and I'm not going to mention her name, but she works there, and she said, I hadn't seen her in a while, she said, well, they can let you live there. Now, I forgot how she phrased it, like I'd been banned or something. Well, I got this back today, the application, and, well, it's way above my head. It's a nice place. I can't afford it. But then their clientele, I'm treated like the worst criminal on the planet when they are. This country is. So anyway, some of the questions here, I'd be afraid to go there, to tell you the truth. They ask about if you ever, this whole, if admitted to Friendship Retirement Community, do you agree that neither Friendship Retirement or any member of the staff or board of directors will be held liable for any accident or injury that should be sustained by me? Oh, look what the others have done to me. What do you think's happening to me? I'm dying. They're slow killing me, inhaling fumes, toxic fumes. I've forgotten all the other, but they say that if you lied or misrepresented anything in this application, they can just, quote, dump you out right then. No questions asked. So when they ask about someone to give this reference, I can't even give my sons Mark and Scott, because I haven't known where they were since they put antifreeze in me back then. Last time I saw them, they were with the U.S. Marshal, but it was in my apartment. So I don't know. a friend of mine who's an agent said, how do you